All right. So if I want, currently my bird flies around, and I'm going to make it so his final position he does land off screen. So now the bird's off screen, flies across, and is off screen. Now, if I want to have the mountain stop moving and have the bird come back, to do that, I need to extend out those other layers. So I'm going to move out in my timeline, and what I can do is I can now just go through every layer but the bird layer. So I just click and drag to highlight that, and I can hit F5 to extend those out. That now extends those layers out. I can extend out my guide layer, F5. So currently, we test this movie, we'll see the bird flies in, and now it appears that nothing's happening, but all we're doing is playing a bunch of emptiness. So if I want the bird to continue on and come back in, so I'll extend it. Whoop, wrong part. Always make sure you click on the layer you're trying to affect. It's not a bad idea to lock layers I'm not working with. Always keep layers locked if you're not working with them. Otherwise, you will invariably add things to them you don't intend to, modify their artwork unintentionally. So it's just a really good practice to keep them locked. So if I extend this out, and now if I want to bring the bird back here, now the bird comes back in. If I want the bird to get bigger when it comes in, and I can hold shift to keep it proportional. So now as the bird flies on screen, and let go of, when you're scaling it, it's important that you let go of the mouse button before you let go of the shift button. So as holding shift, let go of the mouse and then let go of shift. Otherwise, it will go to a disproportionate scale, and then you just say all kinds of unkind things about the program. So now if I test this, the bird flaps across. And unfortunately, Flash has some issues at times where when you get to the end, if you scale, it sometimes will start scaling from the beginning instead of from the previous keyframe. It's just a little bit quirky that way, so I need to scale the bird down. So we're going to make it so that that part scales up. So he scales, gets a little smaller, then he flies in and gets bigger. Well, let's test that again. Bird flies across, mountain stop, now he comes back on screen. Anyone notice a problem when he came back on screen? He's flying in the wrong direction. So as he gets to from here, what I sometimes will want to manually do is insert a keyframe. So I can say at this point I want the change to occur. So I'm going to hit F6 at that point. And now click on the bird and say modify, transform, flip horizontal. So now the bird goes across and now he flips, and we need to take the ending frame and do the same thing as well. Modify, transform, flip horizontal. Oh, and I missed by one frame, so I am going to just clear that keyframe. If you want to get rid of a frame, you hold down Shift and hit F5. F5 adds frames, Shift F5 deletes frames. It's a useful skill that you will need as you work on your project. To select an individual frame within a tween, this is a tween, the blue layer. To select an individual frame, I hold down the Command key, Control if you're on Windows, Command key to select that frame. So if I want to choose this frame right here, hold down Command, click it, highlights just that frame. If I want to get rid of the very end one here, hold down Command, click on that frame, hold down Shift, F5, it goes away. And now I can see that I have my bird face the correct way, test the movie, and now he flies back on screen. if I want him to, at the end of this, I'm going to just move him over a little bit more here. At the very end of this, if I want the bird, oh, missed. If I want the bird to, sorry, I'm just trying to do a tweak and it's not working. If I want the bird to switch to something new, this is my bird flying. If I want to have a new piece of artwork, which is my bird not flying anymore and just sitting stationary, so he lands, add a new layer. I'm going to call it bird landing. Insert a new keyframe at the point I want it to occur. And now I need my bird colors, where I can draw. I'm going to lock the original bird layer, bird landing. So this is, I really should have switched to the red color. But I can hopefully get, I think it was that red. Now I can go grab the orange color. Oh. And I suppose he needs feet too, now that he's standing there. So if I go back, grab my paintbrush. So he's standing. And maybe once he lands, he gets an eyeball. Give him a dark beady eye. So he has that uncomfortable, I'm a bird staring at you kind of look. So he flies in, and now it's our standing bird. If we test the movie, he flies across, flies back in, now he's standing. Now what might be nice is to actually draw the animation of him landing and bringing his wings down and settling in. But at some point you have to decide what is important and what is not. If that's not critical to your story and you don't have time to produce it, you don't add that part to your animation. You just do a hard switch.